This channel is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday. Wow, the week went by really quickly. I got to tell you, this has been a really busy week. It's hot here in Seattle, and it is getting to temperatures of 90 degrees, which, you know, for the rest of the country, you might be saying, lucky you. First off, I want to say heart and condolences go out to the individuals affected in Texas, New Jersey, and other areas with the flooding. Very huge impact amount of flooding going on here in the United States with the torrential rains and the dry ground that cannot soak up that amount of liquid and water. So hearts out to those affected by that. Today, we're going to be having an important discussion. Let me tell you, I've been doing business trust for about 7 years now. Wow, where did the time go? And I want to talk about the important protections on how to use private business trust for a myriad of things, including divorces, creditors, and even more. So we're going to be going through it very thoroughly. Before I even begin on the subject of business trust, if you have not hit the like, the subscribe, or the notification bell, or have joined all of the social media outlets that we hear at Creditor Academy, now is the time to do it so you don't miss out on any of the great content that we publish here. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let me start off with this. I bring this up quite often. This is why I bring up business trust, and I want to demystify some myths about business trust. Business trusts are titled many different subjects. Business trust, I hear it like, Paul Michael, I followed a guru, and they told me something better than a business trust. And I was like, what is that? And they say, oh, it's a constitutional trust. Then I hear from someone else, Paul Michael, forget about the constitutional trust and the business trust. I have the best trust. It's the common law trust. Oh, wait a minute, Jose. Hold on. Forget everything you guys are talking about. Do you even know about the foreign grantor trust? And then someone else will come in to be like, yeah, sounds great, but you don't have God on your side. So I have an ecclesiastical business trust. Then someone else would be riding on a pony, get off and say, hey, you guys sound great, but you're not pure. Have you ever had a pure trust before? And it's all these trusts, bro. They come out of the woodwork. I've had people say, have you done it? You've done business trust, Paul Michael, but have you done an irrevocable trust? So many things, so many things. So I'm here to demystify some things, okay? And I'm here to shoot it to you straight. I've been doing this 7 years, okay? All of those titles mean the exact same thing. There is no difference between any of those. You see, a Massachusetts trust, constitutional trust, pure trust, business trust, and so on are all backed by one thing, and that's case law. And the case law is found exclusively in American Jurisprudence. I have the second edition, volume 13. Okay, specifically. Did they update it since then? Yes, they updated it since then. Did much change? Not really. Okay. This is the backbone of all those trusts. So they can title it whatever they want. But what is it backed by is the question. And if it's not by American Jurisprudence that talks about specifically business trusts, then it has no power at all. Business trusts that are associated with American Jurisprudence is the backbone to operating in the private. If you do not have this, then you have no protection. So how do you get the protections of American Jurisprudence in a trust? And how do you, besides the fancy title of the name, ensure that your trust is following the American Jurisprudence guidelines. Here, I'll share and tell you. Very easy, actually. It's right here. So I'm going to show you an example of my business trust, my declaration of trust, so you can see how I make it clear. Let me share my screen. So here is my declaration of trust document. I provide this to all Creditor Academy members, okay, masterclass members. All of you get my declaration of trust document. You can go to our website, www.creditoracademy.com, and I'll give this to you. So right here, this is how I show that my business trust is backed by American jurisprudence. It's in your recitals. Whereas the trustee desires to create a Massachusetts type business trust, an unincorporated association with transferable shares to carry on such general business activity as they seem proper for shareholders. Now, this is important because the language of a business trust must match American jurisprudence. And how do you know if it matches American jurisprudence? I'll show you. It has to match the purpose of American jurisprudence. So here you go. Like I said, this was the document I was just holding in my hand. This is American Jurisprudence, 2nd edition, volume 13 on business trust. It states the scope of the topic. This article considers the business or Massachusetts trust, an organization created voluntarily by trust instrument, where the trust instrument is the declaration of trust document, whereby trustees manage the trust estate for the benefit of the holders of the transferable certificates. That's the beneficiaries, also known as the shareholders, right? And it's managed by the trustees, okay? So when you look at this, the trustees desire to create a Massachusetts type business trust, it matches American jurisprudence right off the bat. And whereas it's proposed that the trustees manage in a manner hereinafter stated such capital and other property which they may hereafter acquire as trustees. The trustees hold the title to the property, okay, inside the trust. This is my personal declaration of trust document that myself and my attorneys put together. This trust, I'm here to tell you, I've seen many trust declaration of trust documents before, and I want to show you the garbage that is on the internet. And all of you do this. I mean, unless you go to another guru who is pulling the same garbage that I'm about to show you. Okay, watch this. Watch this. I'm a member of Scribed. Maybe a lot of you might be members of Scribed as well. So in Scribed, you could type in, I want a business trust, right? You have to be a member of Scribed to get it. You type in business trust, kind of outline, you'll get a bunch of stuff like, let's see. All right, like this. Let's click on a random one. 1899 business trust business plan. And you'll say business trust, here's the scope, here's the background. And it's just all of this. Oh man, where's the, I'm going to type in declaration of trust. Declaration of trust. There you go. To be more specific. Okay, here you go. Here, trust declaration stocks. This declaration made of date and between trustees and beneficiaries whereby the trust is registered owner of the shares. If you notice, you'll scroll through this, and most of them are like this. You'll go through 1 to 2 pages tops. 1 to 2 pages tops for a declaration of trust. Okay. Here's one example. I'm going to show you a couple examples. Let's click on this one. I'm just clicking around. Here's another declaration of trust example. There it is. This is only 1 page. Let's go to living trust example. This one's a little bit longer. It's got all this garbage where it's not thorough, it's not organized. And you just click through all these declarations of irrevocable living trust. Here we go again. I see that. Irrevocable living. Do you have an irrevocable living trust? It's all a business trust. Once again, it'll have articles, it'll have outlines, it'll have money and whatnot, but it's not very thorough. None of these are thorough. When you look at my business trust, I want you to look at how organized it is. First of all, the contents, the general declaration, the domicile, jurisdiction, trustees, meeting of the board of trustees, the power of trustees, legal title, everything is organized to American jurisprudence in the different sections. Okay? It's nice and neat. The articles and the descriptions are perfect. But most important, my layout that I set up is in such a precise template format that to fill this out, even for someone who's never filled out a declaration of trust document, is so simple. And it's nice and neat all the way throughout. This would take you 5 minutes to fill out. And it's so important that you have a thorough, precise, and powerful declaration of trust. Now, how do you know your declaration of trust document is precise and thorough? It's by its intention, okay, and its end result. The end result of your declaration of trust document should be this, is that you should be Pharaoh over Egypt. Let me say again. You should be Pharaoh. You should have as much power and control in your business trust as Pharaoh has over Egypt. Pharaoh is the trustee of Egypt. Just like you are the trustee over all the trust property that's listed inside the trust. You should have absolute dominion, power, and control over everything over Egypt. This is hugely important. And this is what's missing from so many declaration of trust documents that I see. I see a lot of administrative works, but I don't see the power that is given to the trustees. So I want to point out to you the level of power that I give you inside the declaration of trust document. Okay, let me share my screen. So here is the declaration of trust document, the power of trustees. This is, I also want to tell you that once you get this declaration of trust document from us at Creditor Academy, it's the only declaration of trust document you'll ever need for the rest of your life. You don't need to look anywhere else on the internet. This is perfect in nature and it's customizable. I use the same declaration of trust document for my SPC process that we do for those here at Creditor Academy. I use the same declaration of trust document when you want to protect the assets of your house or your car. I use the same declaration of trust document if you want to operate your business. I use the same declaration of trust document to hold on to personal property that you're worried that a divorced, bitter wife might be trying to take from you. Maybe husband in some cases. But one of the key facts is this article right here, the power of trustees. The trustee shall not have any general powers, but shall have the absolute and exclusive power to carry out the purpose of the trust established pursuant to this trust declaration and subject to discharge of its fiduciary obligations. The trustee shall have the following powers and discretions in addition to those now or hereafter conferred by law and as otherwise restricted by the trust. The power to hold an undivided interest, the power to determine the allocation of income, principal, and expense, the power to deal with title and title insurance problems in all situations, the power to deal with or secure patents, copyrights, trademarks, or the like. All right, now get ready for this. We're about to go real fast. The power to hold, manage, or acquire productive or unproductive properties. The power to buy, sell, lease, exchange, deed, convey, assign, hypothecate, invest, loan, borrow, and grant options. The power to pledge to secure loans. The power to lease or rent. The power to make improvements, modifications, and alterations. The power to demolish improvements. The power to abandon as worthless. The power to subdivide, the power to encumber, the power to petition, the power to adjust boundaries, the power to execute covenants, agreements, contracts, or credits, the power to create servitudes, grant easements, and the right of way, impose conditions and restrictions, and to release the same, the power to seek zoning, rezonings, variance, or non-conforming use permits, the power to establish and maintain reserves for depreciation, the power to distribute in any kind in divided and undivided interest, the power to buy, sell, or hypothecate gold, silver, diamonds, and other precious or semi-precious stones or metals, the power to employ employees, consultants, caretakers, managers, or other agents, the power to dedicate for public use, the power to carry insurance of all kinds, including but not limited to a personal liability or property damage, fire, casualty, extended coverage, income protected insurance, the power to terminate this trust, but only with the approval of all current beneficial unit holders. At the termination of the trust, the property would be distributed pro rate to the current beneficial unit shareholders. The power to incorporate, enter into partnerships, associations, or other joint ventures, and operate, distribute, diversify, change, liquidate, or otherwise run the trust. The power to delegate authority to executive trustees, agents, caretakers, or employees. The power to pay reasonable compensation to trustees, consultants, caretakers, employees, managers, agents, and others for services rendered, and to determine the authority and responsibility of each. The trustees are responsible for and must supervise all actions of the managers, agents, caretakers, etc. The power to continue mortgage investments after maturity, either with or without renewal or extension. The power to disregard the principle of investment diversification. The power to invest and reinvest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, notes, or mortgages on property within or out of the United States. The power to participate in common trust funds established by any bank or trust company. The power to hold life insurance, fixed or variable annuities, health or disability insurance on any beneficiary or anyone who is a beneficiary has an insurable interest. The power to invest in options or commodities for cash or on margin. To trade in securities for any nature, including short sales on margin or for such purposes, may maintain and operate margin accounts with brokers. The power to continue, operate, manage, sell, or liquidate any business or any business interest in the trust. The power to engage the trust in any business or business activity which is lawfully carried on. The power to take whatever steps deemed advisable to effectuate the organization and or dissolution of corporations or other business entities. Notwithstanding any other provision in this trust declaration, no power shall be exercised, nor any action be taken by the trustees except upon the unanimous consent of all trustees having authority to exercise that power. You are Pharaoh over Egypt. There is not one thing I did not include that you do not have control over. And unanimous decision of trustees, I only made it a requirement to have at least a minimum of one trustee of the trust, which you can appoint yourself, or you can appoint an entity that you own and control. So this declaration of trust document is it's not only so thorough, but it's precise to American jurisprudence. If you are brought to court during a divorce situation, or operating a property, or having credit cards that are extended or anything like that, and you have to go to court and defend yourself against creditors, the only backbone of support that you have is your declaration of trust document and how it coincides with American jurisprudence. But American jurisprudence is not the only law that goes to your defense. This declaration of trust document has two other laws that it pulls from to give it its maximum amount of protection. The second is the common law. The common law is applicable to all nations, 180 plus countries around the world. So my declaration of trust document not only works in the United States, it works in Australia, the United Kingdom, in Africa, and more, 180. It has the protections of American jurisprudence, which is constitutional law, because case law is what was been supported by the Supreme Court. So you have the common law, you have constitutional law. What's, Paul Michael, the third supreme law that helps the authority of your declaration of trust law? The only authority I wanted to choose to make sure that you had the most amount of protection is the highest law of the land when it comes to commerce. And there's only one group of law that covers the highest rule of commerce, and that's contract law. You're contracting between the creator, the trustees, and the beneficiaries to come together under this. And all of it falls under the category of trust law. This is trust law at its finest. When you have these powerful, lawful jurisdictions that you're operating under: common law, contract law, and constitutional law, all under American jurisprudence, which gives you all the trust law and the case law that support it. Okay? This is why, if you want to become or operate in the private, you must understand business trust. Period, bar none. Forget any guru that you're going to asking questions about discharging and all that. This is your foundation. This is where you need to start. I can help most individuals in most situations if you have a business trust or a declaration of trust document and it's notarized. I can help most people. And it's super important from there. Now, if you want to learn, this is why at Creditor Academy, we have what's called Masterclass. Masterclass is your foundational learning and understanding of just what it means to get into the private. Okay? What's the quickest, fastest, easiest way, Paul Michael, for me to get into the private? And it revolves around three things. Okay? Three things that we cover for all Masterclass members. One, we want to get your business trust up and running immediately. Do not do a statutory business. Okay? We want you to become sovereign. Sovereignty really means that you're independent and that you have the right to privacy. Privacy, by definition, by what was said by our founding fathers, is the right to be left alone. The right to be left alone. That is the epitome of what being private is. We want you to be independent and private. We do not want you to try to claim your independence by not working for your employer anymore, which is a great first step to your independence, is not to rely on anybody but yourself. But the pitfall is during that journey, you go sign a deal with the Secretary of State and give away all your rights. And you exchange your rights for public benefits. And now you're trapped in the rat race. Now you got all the fees, the tax obligations, all your information's in the public. You don't have your privacy as you want. The government harasses you to update them all the time about how many employees you have and what reporting requirements that you must follow by having dealings with them. So now the next question is, okay, Paul Michael, I did step one. I'm now in the private. I got my declaration of trust document. What am I supposed to do now to secure my independence? The second thing is you have to operate in commerce effectively. That means you need, like Patrick Devine was saying, to be like a banker. Okay? You need bankers' relationships. Here at Creditor Academy, one of my banker connections is the instructor. So you can literally raise your hand and say, hey, I have a question. And his thing, as he will tell you, has told me and told everyone, is that the bank's relationship is so crucial. Your local banks, whether it's Chase, Bank of America, US Bank, and all the others. And he says, I can set you up in the private with your merchant processing, but you need a banker's relationship, and we teach you how to develop banker's relationship so then they can give you unlimited credit. Getting credit extended to you through your private entity protects you. And how it protects you is because business trusts uniquely offer the opportunity of you to be the caretaker, but not the owner. Okay? Ownership means liability. As the Rockefeller said, we want to own nothing and control everything. You're in control of your business trust, but you're not in ownership of it. So when you get banks that accept your business trust, which we do all the time, we do it with Chase, US Bank, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, you name it, and they extend you these lines of private credit to you, private business credit, you can now do with that as you please. You can spend it on whatever you want. And here's the huge benefit, is that the banks will extend to you hundreds of thousands of dollars in just 3 months, in 3 months time frame. If you try to do that with your personal credit profile, you're going to be met with a lot of questions and resistance, okay? And the reason why is because when you're operating as an individual, by their definition, your spending and loan capacity is limited because you're only spending credit on personal things. I need a personal house. I need a personal car. I need personal expenses. Well, that goes to only so far as a certain extent, and it's based upon how much income that you can show. But in private business credit, there is no limit because you're doing commerce in the private. When a business needs absolutely everything. It needs large staff. It needs many different vehicles. It needs houses. It needs different forms of real estate. This is why the banks are so open to extend you these lines of credit. But here's the caveat, is so many individuals get into this rat race and say, oh, business trust, why do that? Why get into it? Why don't I just get a statutory business registered with the state and then get my business credit extended to me from my local bank? Why not just do it that way? Because you're personally liable. Simple. You have a liability to the Secretary of State. You have a liability in a contract now with that public entity that only gives you benefits, not rights and privileges, or rights, excuse me. And now you're subject to the consequences. And the consequences are is that you're held personally liable. And your personal liability is what makes you bankrupt. And if you're personally bankrupt by tying your name, social security number to everything and doing personal guarantees with your public entity, then they're going to come after your assets, especially if you don't separate them. So I'm here to give you confidence that life as you know it does not need a deep rabbit hole of understanding and all of these failed processes or notices in order for you to be successful in commerce. The only thing really we need to correct for you to be successful and for you to get your remedy is simply taking the mainstream but making it private. It's really that easy. And all it takes is 10 pages of documents, which is the declaration of trust I gave you, and a notary stamp. And that's what I love about the private, is it doesn't overcomplicate anything. It makes it simple. It's the B system that makes it complicated and makes us all confused. But as God intended it to be, he made his creation simple and apparent to all that he exists. And that we're the caretakers of all the land on the earth, just like we are the caretakers or the trustees of our business trust organizations. So you don't have to search very far. You don't have to try to convince the people around you that the journey that you're going on is the right way. And if only you knew about the banking cartel of 1913 and 1933, and if only you knew about this birth certificate, No, it's really just getting the basics. And the basics is understandable to the common man. And that's how I was successful at doing business trust for 7 years, is really by speaking simple truths and showing people that, hey, there's a better way of operating. And the better way of operating is private. With that being said, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, joined our private Facebook group or our other social medias, now is the time to do it so you don't miss out on all the great updates we have here at the Creditor Academy. If you want to be a masterclass member, we'd be excited to help you, because it's not just about the information, it's about the community that we have here at Creditor Academy. Just go to www.creditoracademy.com in order to register as a member. Let's go to questions. Crown in the right of the Commonwealth. Let's go to you.
Greetings, Paul Michael. Just I noticed something in the articles relating to legal title. Why wouldn't one be going for equitable title rather than legal title?
Well, the trustee holds legal title, and any equity that's built inside of the property becomes ownership. I mean, you own the equitable title to that. So let's say you have $50,000 that you paid into your property. You now have $50,000 worth of equity. So now you have equitable title over $50,000 that you built up inside of that property that's owed to you. If you have no current payments in that property, then, or any equity that you build up, then you don't have equitable title over anything. You just have the title of the property that you own. This is the same thing with renting, leasing, or having a payment, or a brand new payment arrangement with another organization or individual. So it all just depends on what equitable or interest, I would call it interest, that you have inside of any asset.
Yeah, so the beneficiaries would have the equitable beneficial interests.
Correct. Yes, if there's equity built up, absolutely, the beneficiaries will be able to get that enjoyment. And equity is built over time in most cases, unless you got a house or a property or something that's already paid off already. So yeah, but everything is to the benefit of the beneficiaries. When the grantor or creator passes, or the fulfillment of the trust is done, it is the responsibilities of the trustees to liquidate and expose of the funds to do the distributions to the beneficiaries as soon as possible.
Got it.
Amazing. No problem. No problem. I want to also add to everybody that's watching here, that I want you to imagine that, especially as it relates to divorces, a situation, because in today's day and age, before a divorce proceeding begins, if you anticipate a legal or financial challenge, you need to seek a way to preserve your wealth and limit exposure to any potential claims. The business trust, like I said before, also called a Massachusetts trust or a common law trust, serves as your powerful legal tool to protect your property, your income, and your business holdings. Unlike the standard trusts that our state created, that are used mainly for estate planning, a business trust operates like a private legal entity that holds and controls your assets while separating your beneficial owner interest from your legal ownership. So by placing the assets, such as real estate, your bank accounts, your intellectual property, or even your income producing business into a business trust before the filing, let me say it again, before the filing for divorce, and you can effectively shift those assets outside of their personal estate. And it's making them harder for a spouse or even their attorney to claim during marital property division. So how would I structure a trust to avoid marital property claims? Is timing is number one, and structure are critical when establishing a business trust in this case, because it must be created and funded before divorce proceedings begin. Doing it afterwards is considered fraudulent transfer of divorce planning abuse. And it's to be only effective if the trust should have an independent trustee, not that the person transferring the assets is involved. So, yeah, so it's proper structuring. So if you create the trust with the funds and the property inside the trust before the proceedings happened, it's considered separate. Okay. There's also something to consider, something to do before you even get married, is by transferring assets that are acquired before marriage into a trust as well. Okay. So this is powerful because a lot of people try to do, what's that? A prenuptial agreement. But if you have a trust that's holding this property, you're really circumventing the prenuptial agreement, because you've already established that you don't own anything before you got into the marriage. And it was made clear on that. Okay. Now, besides divorce, we need also protection against creditors and legal judgments. So if you want to protect your assets, not only from your spouse, that you can also protect them from creditors by having a business trust to shield your assets from those legal claims. And so then lawsuits, financial threats, or other creditors don't have any claim over it. This is because the assets are no longer titled in your personal name anymore. They're now under the legal ownership of the trust. So if the creditors are trying to collect on personal debts, they cannot reach it because the trust assets prove that it was set up properly. So then so creditors don't have any claims. But you got to do it before the claims are even beginning. You got to do it before then. I can help most people if you can set up a trust before that time. So it's crucial. It's very important. You see this also with asset protection trusts that are offshore. Oh, I got to go to the Cayman Islands. I got to get a bank account in Belize. I got to get a bank account in a Swiss bank account and such. Really, these are just common law type trusts or asset protection trusts that, you know, you put your stuff into and have it offshore, which offshore means outside of the jurisdiction. But do you have to have it offshore in order for you to still be protected? No, you don't. You can have it here locally. You just have to ensure that it's done well before any claim has been made ahead of time. Some of you are just like, man, Paul Michael, I feel like I'm starting over in life, that everything that I've worked for and done has now come to a situation where I don't have personal credit. I don't have any finances in my bank account that I have saved. You might be just feeling like a sense of hopelessness. I don't want anybody to feel like that. So really the solution is just knowledge and proper planning. Any individual who's listening to this channel right now can restart their entire lives in as little as 3 months just by starting a business trust and getting that $200,000 from the bank. It's really that simple. The bank has underwriting requirements. The underwriting requirements are only subject to normal business activity, which is what we discuss here at Creditor Academy. You have to have your foundation of your business trust complete, which is the business trust document, your business address, a website, and some other things. And then after that, you just start applying for credit cards. We have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cards, which have different rewards points, benefits, spend limits, and so on. By doing this simple credit game with your private entity, you're back on top in just a few months. That in itself is freeing. It's absolutely freeing, because that means that there's nothing in life now that can keep you down. You have no excuse to not succeed. And it's not just for Americans, it's for the international market too. Here at Creditor Academy, we teach you how to take advantage of the American market so you can get into our credit game as well. It's very simple, straightforward, and it also uses business trust. And the amazing thing is, you can still get an EIN like we do. The taxes and benefits are still the same for you. It's literally all you got to do is just 2 extra steps that a normal American has to do, but that's just pretty much about it. And that $200,000 that you develop in America is transferable to any other country. If you got Visa and MasterCard in your country, you can transfer it over. And this is why our teachings apply everywhere. And I don't have to go through some conspiratorial rabbit hole in order to get you results. Again, I'm taking the normal practices of everyday life and applying it to the private. And as soon as I did that, my whole world changed. Honestly, here I am to tell you, there are so few organizations that are even sticking to such a simple foundational plan. And it's the simple steps that's going to set everybody free. And if you can just get that foundational simple steps done and repeatable, and everybody can repeat this in their neighborhood, their community, to their family members and friends, and help them along with these foundational steps, then no one's going to have a money problem, or what I call a credit problem, because no one has money problems. You just have credit problems. And that's pretty much it. So we go very thoroughly over these subjects. That's why when you go to the homepage of our website, you'll see the courses that outline everything that I'm talking about. Number one is you need to become private. This is correct your status and reclaim your lawful standing. You establish yourself as an American national. You complete your secure party creditor process. You create your private identity and foundational documents, and you declare your political and legal autonomy. Become private is learning how to step out of the public and establish your affairs in the private. Then we go to operate private. We build, manage, and grow an empire in the private, independent of the public system. We cover the private business trusts, the private membership associations, how to protect real estate privately, and do legacy planning, and so much more. Then we need to get you to be a merchant. This is our private merchant and processing. This is included with your masterclass membership, where you discover the foundations of private commerce and take control of how you get paid. There's so many of you that don't know how Visa, MasterCard, and the credit bureaus operate and control the world. You need to know private merchant processing 101. How does money work? How does money move? How do the banks extend credit? How do these transactions happen? I've never seen anybody go into depth about this. And this is why we're so happy to have an instructor that covers this thoroughly. You need to know how to accept payments privately. Because let me tell you, if you're not accepting payments privately, then you can get shut down. All of this work of being in the private ends if you don't control the money that you can accept or the credit that you accept. You have to in order to do that, you have to bypass the mainstream merchant gatekeepers. That's Stripe, PayPal, and others. You need to avoid the freezes, chargeback, and account terminations, and you need technology and software in order to accomplish that. Everything isn't provided in that way in the private merchant and processing course. Then we have the private business credit, okay? Where you learn how to build unlimited business credit in the private, and it's truly unlimited. Hey, if you can get $200,000 in business funding in just 3 months, imagine what you can get in a year, right? Because in order for you to get $200,000 in business funding for your private entity, you don't need to, you're not buying gasoline to get it. You're not buying toilet paper to get it. Every time that you swipe that credit card that we're going to show you to get with your business trust doesn't buy objects or services. It buys credibility. It buys trust. It shows that you are trustworthy to the banks. And that's what you need to learn. You need to learn how to work with the bankers. Because the bankers, whether you like it or not, they rule the roost, right? But if you know the insider banker secrets on how to build credit with an unincorporated business trust, access high limit credit with no personal guarantee, set up a strong reporting trade lines, and you know how to even play the luxury game of accessing airport lounges, hotels, and vacations, then you'll be living the life of these bankers because you know how to play the game. Then, of course, I Want Remedy Now is for those of you that are like, Michael, I need fast, lawful credit discharge that puts me back in control. This is by far our most popular course. And not only that, but we get results. I Want Remedy Now has over 1.275 million already total debt eliminated. This is a powerful course, proven results. I mean, I love that course. It's so phenomenal. Sovereignty 101 is discover how Americans shifted from liberty to control and what it takes to reclaim independence once again. You need to have your foundations. What happened during the post-Civil War? What are the origins of commercial law and currency? What is the public system as a managed debt trap? You know, and how do you understand your lawful private standing? Sovereignty 101 is all the basics of how we got into this mess in the first place. In the first place. And what I love the most about our platform, honestly, is that we gamified it. We're the first ever gamified Sovereignty Academy. So we have what's called Creditors Football. This is a software we developed ourselves where you master private concepts through the excitement of football. Football is, you know, if you're living in America, isn't it the best sport ever? I mean, talk about your testosterone rising when you see 300-pound men hit each other at full speed over a pigskin, right? I mean, you want to talk, I mean, as far
Isn't that
as
rugby?
yeah, it's like the Roman circus or the bread and circuses. I got to tell you, that's my most favorite game. It's like the gladiators of today that are battling, and we put that all into our platform. The gamification is to give you something more than just slideshows and, you know, reading material and videos to watch, which are all very high quality and great information, but to make it fun. We really do want to make it fun for you guys, and we're doing a lot of things to make it happen. But you guys got to know the basics. These are the basics. If you know the basics, you'll be successful. You don't have to keep on searching the very depths of the internet, wondering, where am I going to find my remedy? And is this truth movement really true? And how can I prove that it's true? This is everything in the academy covers all of that. If only thing that you did was these basic courses, you'll be successful no matter what. I truly mean that. I truly mean that. With that being said, everybody, it's the top of my hour, so I have to get going. But I want to wish you all a happy Thursday. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, followed us, you know, did all the social media things, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you all in the very future. If you'd like to, once again, join us and become a masterclass member here at Creditor Academy, you can go to www.creditoracademy.com. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Amazing. Oh, man. Business trust.